Oh, hey there, kids. My name is CHIQUI. You can call me Mrs. CHIQUI. Today, we're going to focus on one question. Would you rather a family member teach you life or the universe? Now, I'm going to be your trusty guide, and we're going to start out talking about some of our childhood stories. Now, you remember the 3 little pigs, right? Of course you do. Let's just go through it. Now, the story with the 3 little pigs goes, all these 3 little pigs lived in one house at one point. And of course, it was their mom and dad's house, of course. And then they got older. And each child went away from the house and started their own life. And the first little piggy, he picked straw. And the second piggy, he picked sticks. And the third, he picked bricks. Now, one day, the first little piggy who made his house of straw, he encounters a wolf. And of course, the wolf blows his house down. And he runs to the second little piggy's house, who's made his house of sticks, and he blows the house down. And then they run to the third house made of bricks, and the wolf goes. The end. You gotta love those childhood stories that we just like scratching our heads about. Like, I don't even think I've ever really truly considered the 3 little pigs until recently. And the only reason I thought to consider this was, well, you know what? I don't even know what had brought it into consideration. But check this out, right? Now, hypothetically, in a household, whether you have 3 children, 4 children, 5, whatever, they all leave the nest and they all go out there and they all triumph or fail or whatever. Look what I can do. That's what we do, right? Whether we get it right, whether we don't get it right, whether we figure it out. We'll see. That's really just what it is. Because our parents, of course, they did everything that they could do, everything that they knew to do. And we'll get into that. I'm gonna break that down for you, but not this video. Now, when we leave our parents' house, right, depending on what type of household you were in, right? Depending on what kind of parents you had or what kind of guidance you had or what type of authorian, if you even had an authorian, if you had supervision, whether you had no supervision. And we can only imagine that if it's anything like, the past. And we want to definitely base it relative to ourselves, right? Because I don't know what's going on in your house, but we're going to keep this relative to ourselves. I have siblings. I had a mother and a father. I had a household, whether incomplete, whatever. It was my household. I was taught with rules and, given a structure, and, that was that. And when I left my mom's house, I didn't necessarily take everything that she taught with me. Kind of hand picked through some stuff, like, I'll take that. I don't like that too much. All right, see ya. That's how we kind of do it. And then we get out here with our little hacky sack full of fucking the shit that we pick, and we start actually living life. We start meeting people. We start going through shit. We start understanding some things that we should have just understood a long time ago. So now we're hit with the universe teaching us unwanted lessons. Like, what? What do you mean lessons are unwanted? I mean, please do not test me. Especially for something that I wasn't necessarily prepped on. Like, that's not fair. Well, everybody gets a grade. Everybody gets a grade, and everybody picks the test. It's not my fault if you're prepared or not. And don't worry. If you fail this time, maybe you'll succeed next time. And if you're like any type of OCD who just likes to succeed all the time, that's just like a real burner. So it's like, no. No. You know? So that's the universe, right? So if the three little pigs came from a really structured household, then hopefully the piggy's parents would have been more instructive. Like, hey, the reason why we're wiping off this counter is because we want to get all the germs off of it. If we have germs, and the germs get into the baby's mouth, you give a kid a fucking scenario and understanding, they go, ooh. Now, if they don't wipe the counter, and you've already given them that understanding of what will happen and how it could affect everybody, and they still don't wipe the counter, you might want to get the kid into counseling because he obviously has no fucking empathy. But I'm just throwing that out there. He's like, I don't give my 2 fucks, and you know what? I want you to get sick. But I mean, that's what I'm just saying. I'm just saying, anyhow. But when you give a child a reason for why you're doing things, and the child finds the reason to be acceptable, they will definitely use it. And if they don't use it, they will definitely hear it and remember it, and it'll be in there. It'll be like, oh yeah, my mom said to do that because this and this will happen, and that. Oh shit. Someone said, wow, wow, she wasn't lying. And then as you go, respect starts to build. It's a gradual thing, because as they're talking and as they are being and as they are, we're always like, yeah, we're skeptical, and we should be skeptical. I mean, our parents don't necessarily do a great job as to building the virtues that we need to see necessary for our understanding. We get to a point of seeing that they're extremely contradictive, and we cut them off like, mouth source of information. We are so jagged, aren't we? Like, what gives us the right? Well, because I learned something, and I learned that this person was wrong. All right? So we can get to that self-righteous place. I mean, even I've gotten there. I've been fucking pissed off. And I got a real right to be pissed off. But I don't necessarily have a person to blame it on. It's not a blame thing. It's just it's something that needs to be corrected. So when I'm looking at the past and I'm seeing like I'm not trying to complain about it. Just correct that shit. Correct it. I don't want to complain about this shit every day. Correct it. And stop telling fables. Like, yes, the pictures and the wolf and the piggies, oh, they're so cute. But it really takes away from the point and the objective. And the objective being is to build your boundaries, better boundaries, If you have boundaries of straw, shit, anybody can blow that shit down because you're kind of like okay to everything. They could probably offer like, oh, hey, we should go down there. We should go down to Texas. Or I don't know, we should go down to Texas and lend some black clothes. Like, yeah, sure. They just kind of go with the flow on anything that's fucking crazy. Straw. I don't really like that. Well, come on, okay. Boundaries. Maybe the stick is like more firm. It's more firm on some shit. Like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. And those are good boundaries to have. But when it came to these areas, the stick snapped and it just didn't work. Yeah, it wasn't that solid. They was walking the walk, but they really wasn't talking that talk. And yeah, they got snaked and fell down But the brick, she was listening. And Dad said, don't do this because that. And Mom said, boop, 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 boop. And she was like, got it, bricks. She's seeing them motherfuckers coming. Look here, Wolf, don't even, all right, go ahead. Ain't nobody paying you no mind. You're here hitting the wall, beating the wall up, and it ain't doing nothing because, her foundation is strong. She got the teaching she needed. She used it. She applied it. She conquered it. The world came by the test. She didn't even know the test was happening. You know what I'm saying? What? Who would have thought the three little pigs could really get that deep? But I never thought to actually look at it that way. The three little pigs.